And I saw when opened up the Lamb one out of the 7 seals, and I heard of one out of the 4 living saying as to voice of thunder, Be you coming? And I saw, and look, horse white, and the sitting upon it having bow, and was given to him crown, and he went out conquering, and in order that he might conquer.
Now we're up to 2008. We passed 1948, past 1975, past 9/11, 2001, 2003, the two Gulf Wars, right? Now we're dealing with 2008. This is the first seal. It's talking about the rider on the white horse. That's Obama. He said he had a bow and a crown. We understand the angel. You understand that means that the 5th seal, the 5th trumpet has blown. It'll be the first one to blow. So now you have a crown and a bow, because before the 5th trumpet and 6th trumpet represents rain and bow. One is rain, one is bow. That's chapter 10, but I'm not going into detail here. Okay, so he's the one riding on the white horse that has authority over 1/4 of the earth. And if you read the whole thing, you have white horse, the black horse, the white horse, the reddish, fiery red horse, the black horse, and the fiery and the greenish yellow horse, right? Some call pale, but it's wrong, right? And so they had authority over 1/4 of the earth. 1/4 earth is defined as 4 parts because European countries, right, represents the earth, but you have the shield, which is part of European countries, they represent as mid-heaven in chapter 19 because they're between the heavens and the earth. I call them mid-heaven. So that means it makes earth, because there's 6 wings altogether, but the top 2 6 wings are the Islamic part of the earth. Remember, the top 2 wings are the Islamic part of that country. The Islamic part of the European countries represents the Shia. See? So that means if they're called the mid-earth, then it means only got 4 wings that's called the earth, and so they can be divided into 4 parts. 1/4 of the earth there, right, would be America. So it says you have authority. Now, this person, remember, he's riding the white horse. Now, who's riding the white horse? That's the lion that's riding the white horse. That's Asia riding the fiery red horse. That's Orient riding the black horse, and Europeans are riding the greenish yellow horse. So that means it's an African riding a white horse, but he has authority over 1/4 the earth, over America. Now that's only, who else can that be? It's very clear. It doesn't tell you it's a black person. It's an African, and that's what Obama is. He's an African. He's not one of us. He's an African. He's an African. His father's African. He came over and married a Caucasian woman, and he has riding on a white horse. Went for a conqueror and a conqueror. Went for a conqueror and to conquer. It means he had 2 conquests to make. The first would be President of the United States. The next would be a non-Islamic Federation of Africa, because Africa is about to be broken into 2 parts, about to unite into two spheres. The non-Islamic and Islamic part of Africa. He's going to be ruling the non-Islamic part, non-Islamic Federation. But I'm not talking about that now. That's new in the future. But that's who that is, Obama. So he will come in control in 2008. That's what it's all about. 2008, he will come in control. He's a dangerous character. He's a mysterious character. You find him in chapter 17. He's the 8th, right, of the 7, but of the 7. He's that mystery when they get all these parables about him. I'm not going into more detail about it, but that's him. I'm going to say this though. He's the serpent in the garden that tells Eve, convinces Eve. Eve is America. Remember, he talks to Eve first. That's what he talks to, because he's ruling America. He's not talking to Adam. He's talking to Eve. You see? And he has authority over Eve, so he's a president. So he knows what their plans are against us. Because Eve was wondering, could I eat this tree? Can I go after it? But she was, because she said, God told me I better not do it, I'll die. He convinced her, yeah, you can do it. You can get rid of them niggas. You can get rid of them. When you do, it means you're going to become like a god. Because when you consume something, it means you take it out of existence. You eat it, it doesn't exist anymore. So if they eat that tree, it won't exist. They take it out of existence. So he tell them, because they was kind of reluctant. He said, no, you can do it. You can take those niggas out of existence. He hates black people. Africans hate black people. You don't see Africans do anything to help black people. They got land, they got everything over there. They don't do anything to help us. You find these Negroes go there and help them all the time. You got Oprah, he's over there trying to build schools for Africans in South Africa. What about schools here in Harlem? See how crazy this is? See? So he's masquerading as your friend. He did nothing. When he was president, he did nothing for you, absolutely nothing. I'm not going into all details about it. But that's a hidden, that's a dark secret. See? Because he was the president, he knew their plans, he could lead their plans. See? I mean, right? He's the president now. He can see all the top secret materials. He can see what the plans that the Pentagon has and everything else. He can see all this stuff. So now he knows what they're planning to do to us. He said, hey, I don't have a problem with that. Go for it. That's what he's saying. Now you can believe it, accept it, reject it. It's right there. When you understand scripture, you know what's going on. That's why scripture's there. You understand? That's why seals be broken. So all this stuff revealed to you. So you know all their secrets. He said, let's deal truly with them. So you down with Ishmael. You got these Negroes going there, talking about Elijah Muhammad's followers, and they go over there praying at the Sunni mosque. And Sunni mosque, they called Farad a fraud, and called Elijah Muhammad a liar, and they would spin on them if they could. And you go in there and pray with these people that call your God a fraud, and you're messing, you're a liar. And you really go over there and pray with them. Who you praying to? You ain't praying to Farad, because if you are, you sure ain't telling them that, because they would throw your ass out of there. And you'd be lucky if they take your head with you. You're sure not going to the Middle East and talking about, I'm a Muslim, but I pray to Farad. He's my God. If Elijah's, you ain't going to do that. Unless you're suicidal. So anyway, that's what that is. That's 2008 now. Okay.
And was given to me reed like to staff, saying, Rise you up and measure you the divine habitation of the God and the altar and the worshipping in it. And the courtyard the outside of the divine habitation throw you out outside, and not it you should measure, because it was given to the nations, and the city the holy they will trample on months 40 and 2.
– 2015. This when Obama makes the agreement with Iran, the Shia. He makes an agreement with them. Remember, they had been cast down, but they weren't completely buried yet. This is chapter 11. But it says they will be under the foot of the nations for 42 months, means 3.5 years. What do you mean trample under the foot of the nations? It means they've been under all the nations you see in the position you see here. They'll be under the nation. That's the position you see here. See? That means they're under authority of the nations, under authority of the UN. That's what this agreement is all about. They'll be under authority of the UN for their so-called nuclear program. This is an agreement brokered by Obama and his people. That's 2015. So for 3.5 years, they will be under control of the UN, under the nations, under the feet of the nations. This will be also the time, right, that Suleiman will come to the Nation of Islam. But he will be rejected. He will come there and try to teach them about the angel and tell them about the demon Farrakhan. He will be rejected by his own people because he was also baptized by Elijah. He was also FOI. Elijah is John. He said Jesus was baptized by John. John didn't want to baptize him. He said, I'm not worthy to even shine your shoes. But he said, no, you have to do it. See? So he was part of, he was part of Elijah Muhammad's flock until it was beheaded. And then it says once Jesus heard it was his nation was beheaded, he went and started his own ministry. It's right that he can't make this stuff up, brothers and sisters. He didn't stick with Farrakhan and Wallace. He went and began his own ministry at that point in time. Let's move on.
And after the 3 days and half spirit of life out of the God entered in them, and they stood upon the feet of them, and fear great fell upon the beholding them, and they heard a voice great out of heaven saying to them, Step you up here. And they stepped up into the heaven in the cloud, and beheld them the enemies of them. And in that hour occurred shaking great, and the 10th of the city fell, and were killed in the shaking names of men 1,007, and the leftover in fear became, and they gave glory to the God of the heaven.
Three and a half years later, 2018, says they will be under the foot of the nations for just 3.5 years. That ranges from 2015 to 2018, mid 2018. At that time, what would happen? It says the Spirit of God came into them. That means they start rising up. The agreement was broken. That's when Trump broke the agreement. Now he's in charge. He breaks the agreement. You can't make this up, brothers and sisters. Falls exactly in time. I'm not changing anything. Anybody knows the angel study? No, I'm not changing anything. The sequence hasn't changed. I'm just explaining it in more detail. So I'm trying to give you a full explanation of the beginning of Gog and Magog to the end. A special presentation. I haven't done anything like this before. It's been taking me a long time to put this together. A lot of time and study. A lot of work. It's not easy putting these things together. So this at this point, right, I'm telling you from the beginning of Gog and Magog, I'm taking all the way to the end. So at this point right here is where Trump takes and breaks the agreement. He breaks the agreement, right? They begin to move up. Where he said the spirit of the God came into them. Who is the God? What God they talked about? Remember I told you Satan is their God. Satan is their God. And the spirit is the one beneath him, right? That spirit belongs to him. That's a demon spirit. The demons are also spirits. They're called spirits. The demons are also called the 7 spirits. They're part of the woman. The woman's called 7 spirits. It's also called the 7 eyes, right? It's called by several different symbols. But the demons are part of the woman. They resulted from being raped for 400 years by a slave master. So, it says the Spirit of God came. That means they're rising up now. And so now, that greenish yellow one, that's the Christians, that's the demon, right? Now they're sitting over top of them. We'll talk about that in a minute. Anyway, the agreement gets broken in 3.5, and that's all the time. I'm showing you exactly on time. Trump breaks the agreement. Okay.